Hello survivors and welcome back to the channel. My name is Pip and today we're going to go a little farther into the mod launcher than we've done before. We'll take it from the beginning, downloading the mod launcher, to finding some mods, installing them in a couple of different ways, and then starting your game up. So, if you've never used the 7 Days to Die mod launcher, keep watching. If you have used it, or if you already have it, go ahead and skip ahead to the next bit. So first things first, we need the mod launcher, which is available at 7d2, the number 2, dmodlauncher.org. It was created and is managed by Sphere-eye, or Sphere-eye, or Sphere-eye. I have no idea how to say that properly. Anyway, this wonderful modder has created this mod launcher for us to use. And so you would download the version that you want for your appropriate operating system. They have Mac, Linux, or Windows. Now, if you're in Windows, you're going to get this warning here. So you want to select the options and click report this file as safe. If enough of us do that, hopefully this window will not appear again. So go ahead and click keep, and again, report it as safe, which doesn't seem to do anything, but we'll see. Keep anyway, and it will download it. So finally, after jumping through Windows hoops, we have managed to download the 7 Days to Die mod launcher. Now, to find some mods, you can go to either Nexus mods or 7 Days to Die mods, or often you'll need to go to both because not all modders will post their mods onto both platforms. So you might find some on one that are not available on the other. Let's go ahead and start with 7 Days to Die mods. Okay, we're going to look for Wandering Horde. And we're looking for a mod by Khaine called Wandering Horde Frequency. That's the one. Now this, as it says here, you may have seen in Jawoodle's Anywhere Anytime series. And Khaine has updated it for version 1. So we are going to click on this download here. This takes us to Khaine's mod development base, which in this case is Azure DevOps. Not something I'm familiar with, but I'm not a modder. Many mods will also use GitHub or their own websites. So first thing we want to do is we want to click on the options button here and click download as zip. And then we're also going to go for zombie fall damage. Download as zip. And I think that's all we need to get from Khaine. Okay, over here, we will take a look for Horns Open Doors. No. Horn opens doors. Now this is a fun mod you might have seen on Cap or in other YouTubers' videos, and it will open the trader doors when you click the horn of your vehicle. So we're going to go with manual downloads and slow download. With Nexus mods, you do need to have an account and you need to be logged in, but you don't need to pay for anything. If you choose the slow download, it is always going to give you a free option. It just takes longer. All right, and let's see. Maximus military pallets. That's another one we want. Again, manual and slow download. Now, Maximus military pallets is going to let us loot those military pallets that we find all over the world. Now, let's see. There's also Jack Meister's HUD. Version 1.2 for version 1.2 of 7 Days to Die. So the HUD is the heads-up display that gives you the compass, your food, your water, all that good stuff. And Jack Meister has just arranged it in a way that is more useful and intuitive than the default. So we will hit, again, slow download. Okay, we're going to go back to 7 Days to Die mods, and we're going to look for large forest cities. And what that do is generate larger cities in the pine forest. And that will give us more options while we are in the pine forest. So we'll click download on that. That takes us to, looks like a Google Drive. So up here we hit download, and that will download that one. Can close out of that. The other one we're going to try is the Trader Quest preview. Okay, now there is one thing that I want to download, which we can't install like a normal mod into the mod launcher. So I'll show you how to do that. The Izzy all-in-one gun pack. Because Izzy packed it in a way that the mod launcher doesn't recognize, we're going to have to manually install this, but we can do that still. So first we'll download from Google Drive and hit the download button, download anyway, and there it goes. It's going to take it a moment, so we'll just fast forward through this. Okay, and there it goes. Now we are going to switch over and take a look at our downloads folder. And you can see here, we've got all the mods that we downloaded, plus the mod launcher. So I think it's about time to start installing the mod launcher. We're just going to let it go into its default locations. So click next. We'll say yes to create a desktop shortcut, and then install. And then we can go ahead and launch this. Okay, so this is your blank install of the 7 Days to Die mod launcher. Now, the first thing we're going to do then is we are going to create a game with mods. So in order to do that, you click on Install Modlets. And now this is a little bug, but it's easy to correct. If the word optional is left in here, it's going to cause you problems. So just click in here, hit backspace or delete, and make sure that it's blank. Then the mod, we're going to call it Pip's World, because it's my world. And then click confirm. So that gives you your first custom game. Now, when you're using the mod launcher, you have two options for where the game itself is going to be pulled from. You can either use your standard Steam install, or you can clone it and essentially make a copy of your full Steam install of 7 Days to Die, which keeps it separate. If, for instance, they come down with a 1.3 or a 2.0 update and you have Steam set to automatically install them, it's not going to break the game you're playing in the mod launcher. So we're going to click clone. And what that's going to do is it's going to create a directory and file structure and copy the 7 Days to Die game itself into it. So this could take a moment. We'll fast forward through that. And it's done. Okay, so now you can see that you have the path to this world. So let's just take a quick look at that. Okay, you have your 7 Days to Die data, all the files that would normally be included in 7 Days to Die, but it's not in your Steam folder. So you can have multiple different games going on at the same time in multiple versions this way. So the one thing you might notice is not there is the mods folder. That's because we haven't actually added any mods yet. So we are going to go here and we're going to say manage modlets for this mod. When it opens up, it defaults to show installed modlets. You have other options, but let's click on show all modlets. These are going to be the modlets that are included by default with the mod launcher. Any mod in this list you're going to need to download first. So first thing we're going to download is Score. Okay, so now we just have Score installed. Let's go ahead, go back to show all modlets and take a look through here. Now, another one we're going to install is the Stallion's Den supply crate. That's kind of nice because it just randomly puts a supply crate of some sort in random spots in the world. So you're wandering along and in the middle of the road, you find a military pallet. To me, it looks like someone has been dragging this pallet along for whatever reason, get it back to their camp, and suddenly had to drop it, probably because they were swarmed by zombies. Okay, so we're going to install the modlets that we downloaded, or the mods that we downloaded. So in order to do that, we open the modlet folder. So this has all the default mods in it, and we are going to add our downloaded mods to it. So I think that everything except for the gun pack can be installed. So you just select and drag and choose Move to Modlets. And there they are. So you can see they're all sitting there as compressed files. So if we go back here and choose Manage External Modlets, you'll see they show up in this list. So we click Process Modlets, and that extracts them and adds them to the mod launcher's list of options. So we close that, and we show all modlets again. And I've found that for reasons beyond my ken, they all seem to list down here at the bottom, which is cool until you add them, and then they get into the alphabetical listing. So we're going to add Horn Open Stores, Jackmeister's HUD, Lurker's Pine Forest, Maximus's Lootable Military Pallets, Trader Quest Preview Normal, and Wandering Horde Frequency, and Zombie Fall Damage. So we can close this now and see what we've got here. If there's anything that shows up in your list that you didn't want, you can just hit the minus button and remove it. Okay, so now if we look at the list, we still don't have the mod folder in there. And that's because we haven't synced the mods yet. So if we click pre-sync, it's going to check out all the mods and build the mod folder for our world. So there you go. Here are the mods. Now, 0 TFP Harmony is a required mod for 7 Days to Die. That is always going to be in the mods folder. The rest of these are ones that we chose. So now that we have our mods folder, let's go ahead and unpack the Izzy gun pack. So as you can see, the way he's got this packed is he included the mods folder here. So these are the ones that need to go into our mods folder here. So we just copy them or move them to the mods folder. So now these are not going to show up in the mod launcher itself, but they have been added into Pip's World's mod folder. So the next thing we want to do is we want to go and we want to edit a couple of things because, we don't necessarily want everything to play just the way the modders do. So we'll start with the Wandering Horde frequency. And under blocks.html, we have this. So this is how you set up the Wandering Horde frequency. You have minimum hours and minimum zombies and maximum zombies. So the mod is going to generate a random number for each of these based off of the minimum and maximum values. So let's say, 6 to 18. Well, let's make it 5 to 18. Why not? And then the number of zombies. We don't want to get 20 zombies in a horde on our first day. So let's start with 11 and go to about, 47. Now this is just a notepad, so every Windows machine should have it, but if you have an XML editor, it'll probably open in that. So just go ahead and save that. Then we're going to edit score, because score has some really interesting options here. So if we go into the config and into the blocks XML again, we can find options for traders. Make trader vulnerable. Ever want to kill a trader? Well, that's one way. And then this is disable trader protection. And we're also going to allow building in the trader area. And for that matter, let's disable flickering lights, because they're pretty darn annoying even if you don't have a sensitivity. So let's go ahead and save that. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and try out some of our changes. So your 7 Days to Die game is up and running. You have the option for a new game. Let's go ahead and hit that. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to create your player, or select your player. I like to create a new player known as Pip. And then we can start ourselves a new game. Now, we don't want to play in Navezgane or any of the pre-gen worlds. We're going to create a new random world. And to do that, we're going to go into Advanced Generation. So first thing we need is a world seed. That is a alphanumeric set of characters. And we're just going to go with Pip's world. I have no idea what that's going to generate. We need to choose the world size. So we're just going to go with a small one, 6144. Now, we don't want many cracks. We don't want many craters. And we definitely don't want much in the way of mountains. So this is going to give me a mostly flat area with some hills, a little bit of mountains, and then we choose our biome layout. We can go center forest, center wasteland, circle, or line. I still like center forest, but I like a little more forest than they want to give you, and maybe a little less wasteland. It's going to give you a warning saying changing these settings may break trader progression, which is fine. As long as you don't eliminate or make any of these biomes tiny, you should be fine. It just needs enough room for a trader to actually spawn in that realm. So let's go ahead and hit Generate World, and off we go. So now that they've speeded up random world generation, you can go through 2 or 3 different worlds without killing all your time. Oh, this looks like an interesting layout. Yeah, I kind of like this. So it looks like we've got a big city here in the forest, one here in the snow, small city here in the desert, And a larger city here in the burnt forest and a huge city in the wasteland. That looks pretty darn appropriate. We will need to cross the wasteland in order to get to the burnt forest biome and the desert biome, although we could just bypass that and go through the snow zone. Okay, let's go ahead and go with this. We will hit new game. And then we can set our settings here. We'll play Nomad. Pretty much basic settings on the first page. Lots of enemies. Walk, run, run. And I like to turn the block damage down for the AI just a little bit because it is kind of unrealistic that zombies are going to beat down a concrete wall without actually like damaging themselves. So minimize it a little bit, not too much. But on the Blood Moon, back up to 100. Loot Abundance, we'll put it up a little bit. We don't want to drop anything on death except for our backpacks. Nothing on quit. All right, and we don't need anything on multiplayer, even though I've got some claim size changes, just because we aren't playing multiplayer. This is fine for now, though. Let's hit start. Okay, so we made it to the trader, and because of the changes we made in the score config files, we can now loot the trader. So the trader no longer has his protective aura, his force field, around the whole site, but unfortunately, we still can't get into the trader area itself. The back does make for a much more interesting playthrough when zombies can get into the trader's compound, and you can pick up and wrench things beyond just the usual. It's kind of nice because it does give you some extra stuff early in the game when you need it, but it doesn't go too far overboard, and it adds just a little touch of realism, I guess, if you're looking for that in a zombie survival game. So except for a relatively small area around the trader, you can go ahead and destroy whatever the heck you like. So another way this changes the game up is that if you wanted to, you could set up shop in the trader compound for a little while until you found a more suitable horde base. Just keep in mind that living at the traders is going to attract zombies, and if you're using the Wandering Hordes mod, that's going to attract larger quantities of zombies than you would expect. I wanted to show you a couple other things our mod brought to the table. Now this here is a crate from Stallion's Den's supply crate drops. So just a random crate alongside the road, almost blending in with the grass. And here we are at our trader base, and oh my god, there is a horde. And I'm counting 15, maybe 20 zombies in that horde. That's pretty good. So they seem not to have noticed me, but of course you can always make the mistake of alerting them. Since trader protection was turned off and the fire option was turned on, that means that bad things can happen. The whole trader can be destroyed. Rekt will live through it because he's in his little bubble behind his desk. But if you set your base here at the trader or any place that is built of wood, well, fire can definitely do some damage there. I hope you've enjoyed yet another video in the series of how to use the mod launcher. I find it a very useful tool, and I hope you will as well. Thank you to Sphere2 or Sphere or Sphere however they want it pronounced, for creating the mod launcher and giving us hours of fun with mods. So I hope you'll join me on my next adventure, which will be a modded version of 7 Days to Die. We'll probably play that until the next update comes out. And let me know in the comments if this has been of any help. This is Player Pip saying, don't just survive, thrive.